All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fans Discussion, continuing our Saturday Night's Main Event review series. This is Saturday Night's Main Event 13. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Let's jump into this real quick. They did it live November 11th, 1987. They aired it 2 days after Survivor Series on November 28th, 1987. So there was no talking about the aftermath of the Survivor Series.
Right, because
Obviously,
this
they
was,
couldn't.
because it was before.
Yeah.
They filmed it before, but they aired it after. I like the
Mhm.
whole Twilight Zone intro with Macho Man. They played the
Oh
Twilight
yeah,
Zone music. That was cool. He's like in space. That was cool. I love that show, Twilight Zone.
it was
But
awesome.
no,
Yes. So they had a capacity crowd, 16,000 on hand in Seattle. Ventura and McMahon doing the commentary.
the return of Ventura,
Hmm.
because Ventura had left because he wanted to do the Predator, and Vince didn't want to do it. Then there was also another incident where he wanted to get a union started for the wrestlers, and Vince found out about it later on, years later, in a deposition when Jesse was suing Vince for his likeness, his rights, and everything to get money on the videos and stuff like that. It came out in the deposition. Vince admitted that it was Hulk Hogan that ratted him out about the union. So they had a big fallout because of that, and eventually, because according to just Ventura, and I kind of believe it, he was able to leverage some more money because NBC wanted him on Saturday Night's Main Event. That's why they re-upped him for another season. Was they expected Jesse Ventura? They loved him, and the ratings were excellent. And they got upset, and they told Vince, "We want Jesse Ventura back." Jesse and Ventura ends up eventually coming back on this Saturday Night's Main Event, and it was great with him back. And
Oh yeah, it was. His commentating with McMahon was
it was
awesome.
awesome. It was great stuff.
I love when he told McMahon, when are you going to stop being when are you going to be biased and stop favoring one side?
Yeah.
Well, no, what are you doing? You know,
Jesse
it
was
was
awesome.
yes, he was.
Underrated.
Definitely. This Saturday Night Main Event had four matches, nothing big. The opening match was like, all right, whatever. It was George the Animal
Yeah.
Steel versus Dangerous Danny Davis.
How about before the match? Was it before or was it after? I think it was before. When they do the interview with George Steele and he has the Elizabeth doll and he's like, Elizabeth. I'm like, what?
He's
I'm like,
still
we're
going
not
on.
past. I'm like, we're still doing this?
I mean, this is like almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
And George is coming
George.
towards the end of his wrestling career, because shortly after this, his knee was messed up. I don't know if you know this real quick. If anybody ever wondered why George the Animal Steel WrestleMania 4 never got in the ring for that Battle Royal, it's because he wasn't medically cleared to be in there. His knee was completely shot, that they allowed him to be at ringside, and then they just kind of, when a couple of wrestlers got eliminated, they just let him walk out with them, so nobody knew he was there. So his career was kind of coming down. You could see it in this match, but then again, there wasn't a whole lot of wrestling from George the Animal Steel. This match was kind of chaotic in the 3 minutes 49 seconds it was on. I mean, how many times can it was Joey Morella, could not see the foreign object in Danny Davis's hand?
He's dangerous, man. He's dangerous.
He's a buffoon. Why they ever did the storyline of making this guy a wrestler? And then they say he's barred from refereeing for life. Meanwhile, it was about a year later, he's back refereeing matches.
I forget the storyline, but they somehow reinstated him. So I don't remember what happened.
I mean, the whole thing. Okay, it was an interesting storyline when he was with the Hearts. Okay, I screwed Santana, I screwed the Bulldogs. You guys got the titles. After that, it's like, this guy's seriously getting in the ring still. He had no skills whatsoever. And so George the Animal Steel wins by disqualification after Morella finally sees the object in Danny's hand that's been in there the entire match. So, and then George celebrates by eating a turnbuckle. I'm like, all right, whatever. The next match was my favorite on the card, because these two, man, you talk about a feud that could have been launched with these two over the years. It was Macho Man Randy Savage versus Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yep.
Wow, just right there, it's like, you don't know this in 1887, but a few years later, you had an Impact main event right here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Bret was still a tag wrestler. He was doing a singles match, but you could see the talent there. You could see he could have been. He was on his way, eventually.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they could have even done this singles run in 90, 91, 92 for sure.
Yeah.
And I know in 92 on house shows they teamed up together, but I mean, again, I would have loved to see these two actually get it on for the world title, man. It was
yeah.
A lot of charisma and a lot of athleticism between these two. It was just amazing. 12-minute match. Savage gets the victory on this. I mean, the whole time it's like Elizabeth, it's like they're targeting her. Anvil is targeting her, and whatnot. It obviously, with the feud, what happened the prior Saturday Night Main Event. But Randy Savage picked up the victory here. I'm not 100% sure he had a legitimate injury or if he was selling that with the foot when they took his boot
I think he was
off.
selling it. I think he was selling it, but he did a good job.
Oh, yeah. Because it made you think, okay, did he break his ankle? What's going on here? Regardless of the injury, he still gets the win over Brett, which now this is starting to elevate Savage's status in WWE going towards the following year.
Yep.
Our next match was kind of interesting. It was a rivalry renew. Well, not renew because Hogan's been feuding with the family for like 3 years now. For the WWE title, it was Hulk Hogan defending against King Kong Bundy.
I like
the big surprise.
Yeah. But I like Bobby. I like Bobby before that. He was saying this is the end of Hulkamania. Hulkamania was always going to die. This is the death of Hulkamania. Bundy Mania is going to rule now. And he's like, oh, and I got a big surprise.
I love the Bundy Mania.
Oh, Hogan cuts that promo and he's got those weird tassels. I'm like, what is going on? On the bandana? Like that didn't last very long.
Thank God, because it looked stupid on him.
Yeah, Hogan versus Bundy. I like them fighting each other because it was the huge monster heel. Not the greatest match, but
it had its moments.
Yeah.
And when Andre gets down there, it was the match. The match had ended.
But who was the ref?
Joey Morella.
And I love Ventura.
Ventura went off. He goes, wasn't he the one at WrestleMania 3?
Yep.
Of course they're gonna put Joey in there.
I love Jesse whenever he brings up Joey Morella. He says it with like such conviction.
So during the course of the match between Hogan and Bundy, Andre gets interferes that stops the match prematurely. Andre now it gets told that if he doesn't leave ringside, Bundy's going to lose the match. And Andre's irate at this point.
Yeah. It's cool though because you want to see a clear winner.
Exactly.
You don't want to see that messy ending. So I thought that was pretty cool.
So they finally get Andre out of there. Hogan and Bundy continue the match.
Slams him. Hogan slams him. The first time he couldn't get him up, he falls on him. But he's going to eventually slam him. And it was a good slam.
You can slam Andre. You can slam Bundy.
It was a good slam too. He picked him up like, bam.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was definitely a good one. Bundy did get the victory on this by count out. Bobby Heenan holding Hogan's leg, couldn't get back in the ring.
And Joe, his back was turned, and he didn't. Whatever. Anyway, I like how Jesse Ventura, Hogan has the belt and everything, and he's like, "Look at this guy. He thinks he won the match. He thinks he won the match." And then,
because remember later in the night, he goes back to the two of them during the interview. Goes, "You are the champion." And of course, he's kissing the two of the butts and whatnot. This would set up the next Saturday Night Main Event if they would have the rematch.
Yeah.
But Bundy did get the victory over Hogan, but Hogan's still celebrating.
Yeah, and Vince says, as far as I'm concerned, he is the winner of this match because of the interference and everything. We had a Brian Bosworth cameo.
Yes.
Yeah, and
then
later,
Ventura's like, "Calm down, Brian. I'll come down there and sign autographs." Yeah.
I thought they were gonna go somewhere with that. I thought they were gonna have like a match.
It would have been nice to something like that at towards WrestleMania.
Yeah, the Seahawks were there. He was there with the Seahawks, right?
Yeah, the Boz team of the 1980s.
The original Stone Cold, Brian Bosworth.
Yes, definitely. Now we go on to our main event, which was Bam Bam Bigelow versus Hercules with no Bobby Heenan at ringside. Because remember, Heenan was
got injured.
So
because Hogan gave him a beating at the end of the match.
Yep.
Yeah, he had
this had originally ended in a double countout, but Bam Bam said, "I didn't come here to for no draw. I came here to win, or I came to lose." So they restart the match. You could see the athleticism also in Bigelow.
Yeah.
But this was a big guy that Vince didn't see anything in because remember this time
he pushed him. No, but he does give him a push. I don't know the story of Bam Bam. I don't know what happens, but he gave him a push because he was the sole survivor of Survivor Series, and he was getting a babyface push. I don't know what happens because he's not there very long.
It was right after WrestleMania that he was gone after the tournament.
So I don't know. I think they had plans from initially. I don't know. I would have to look it up. I don't remember. So long ago.
Yeah, because nobody really knows about that. With Bigelow, because then he comes back later on, doesn't have much of a run either.
And he's a heel, right?
Yeah. But as a fan favorite, he was pretty good.
And he was in a video game. He was in WrestleMania. He was in a WrestleMania video game for Nintendo.
Yes, he was.
So for you to get into that game, you're not going to be something. Yeah. So I got to look this up. Maybe we'll do an episode later on. We'll discuss it.
It's possible.
It's interesting.
It is. I love how he does the slingshot over the rope to splashes Hercules. They're doing the whole football thing. It was almost like a grudge match. This match.
Yeah.
Bigelow gets the victory at the 7-minute mark. The crowd wasn't really that into it because they were still,
Yes.
focused on the match prior.
It's the end of the night too. People
Yeah,
are like,
but I mean, it was a decent match. It was a good win for Bigelow.
Mhm.
So I mean, I liked it because again, I like the agility that Bigelow
Oh
would
yeah,
show
yeah.
in the ring.
Yeah, and Hercules is a powerhouse, so it's like
Oh yeah.
it's cool to see two monsters going at it.
hmm
You
So I
know.
mean, overall, the card, with the exception of the first match, the card itself was decent. Again, I love the Bret Hart Savage
Mhm.
match. Hogan and Bundy setting up a rematch, and the Hogan Andre has got to be around the
Mhm.
corner. If this is the second time Andre has been at a Saturday Night Main Event in somebody's corner against Hogan, so
Mhm.
what we gotta we just gotta wait and see it.
Yeah, definitely. It was pretty good though overall.
hmm
All right, so you guys let us know what you think about this episode of Saturday Night's Main Event. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.